Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. It's wonderful to see a few new faces this morning. So I'll do a short recap as we go through of what I've been talking about over the last couple of sessions that we've had. That'll be part of the talk, and then we'll move into the new info. But basically, Positive Pyjama Chats came about because of the COVID-19 situation. I got inspired to basically give back to the community, and we're all at home where we comfortably wear our PJs. So that was where the name got inspired by. Okay. Have I got a mouse that works? I have. Okay, cool. So the last few sessions we've been talking about our opportunity to choose to be happy, and that life is 10% what happens to us, around us, for us, and it's actually 90% how we react to it. So we actually have a large chunk of control in how we see the world, react to the world, and what our world actually becomes. So the law of concentration, Brian Tracy says, states that whatever you dwell upon grows. This is where we've been the last couple of weeks. So the more we think about something, the more it becomes a part of our reality. So what reality are we going to choose? What parts of reality are we going to focus in on? Now, we can focus in on our emotions. That's the hard way of doing things. That's like trying to be self-disciplined, to be positive and productive and all those good things all the time. But that's really hard. It's so hard to control our emotions. If we can focus on the input, our perceptions of the world, what we are choosing to actually bring into our lives, where the input is coming from, and make sure that that is positive, our emotions will follow suit. It's much easier to control what we focus on in our perception of the world and let our bodies and our minds and our hearts follow through with emotions naturally rather than wrangling those emotions. Okay, sorry, I've just got somebody else trying to come in. That's going to have to wait. We have the power of choosing our perceptions and what we focus on. And last week we were talking about focusing on things that matter and also things that we can control. So that crossover is where we have most of our power. There are plenty of things in the world that matter right now, and there are plenty of things that we can have control over. But if we focus on the really important things and spend our time and energy there, as well as the things that we control, and focus on that crossover section, that's where we're going to have most of our power. That's where we're going to have most of our feeling good sensations come from. And what I noticed when I was researching that is that this is what tends to happen. The more we focus on what we can control, our circle of control actually broadens. It actually feels like it's getting bigger simply because we're focusing on what we can do. What we can do right now, today, rather than getting caught up in other things that might also be important, but we have no way of actually having any influence over. That can soak up a whole lot of energy if we let it. But if we focus on what we have control over, our sense of control, our sense of being in charge of ourselves, our body, our world, our family, grows bigger by focusing on what we ourselves can do. How do we do that? We can focus on mindset, engagement, and meaning. And if we just do that concentratedly, focusedly, in a couple of minutes a day, we can make a massive difference to how we're feeling on a day-to-day basis. So last week, we spoke about how we can do that. We there were some suggestions that the participants who were in last week's group came up with. We could contribute more. We could focus on physical activity, moving away from technology, spending time that way. We can focus on ways to be creative or productive and catch up on things that we haven't had a chance to do in normal life. Now we've got a little bit of extra time. What can we do with that that's meaningful, that really matters to us? And how can we connect safely with people that are important to us? Really creating that connection and that meaning in our lives. Today, I wanted to focus on mindset. So looking at ways to naturally stay optimistic, positive, and empowered in our thinking, making sure that the input that we are putting into our day takes us in that direction. So things that we can do, I'm going to incorporate some of those ideas that came up last week as well. Things like productivity and creativity are brilliant for mindset. Gratitude is another thing that we can focus on. Really, really powerful. Meditation is something that if you haven't tried, you might want to take a time to explore. I'm going to delve into these things a little bit deeper today. And movement and physiology, again, that time away from technology to really focus on a little bit of having our body going in the same direction we want our brains to go. Because gratitude and forgiveness actually help to rewire our brains so that our emotions are working with us rather than against us. Our bodies are working with us rather than against us to follow into those positive, uplifting, and empowered thoughts and feelings. If we simply remember to water the flowers rather than the weeds, that will help us to feel more gratitude. Why is gratitude so important? Because, well, it can help you lose weight, it can help you feel better, it can help you sleep better. Who doesn't want that? Gratitude increases our oxytocin and our dopamine. Great endorphins that can really make us feel good from the inside out. Oxytocin is a glue that brings people and sticks people together. When you think about a baby, breastfeeding, for example, brings out the oxytocin. Even just looking at a baby can raise your oxytocin levels. It's amazing. But this is the glue that connects and sticks even adults. Doesn't have to be babies, but human beings together, helping us feel good is that dopamine. Thank you guys for your patience. So coming back to gratitude and taking some time to just thank. Get creative with this. You can make a card, send a letter, write it out. Who gets really nice posts these days? You can do it as an email if you want, but you can really get creative, knock yourself out and do something really pretty, really inspirational and put a card together for someone just to say thank you. Thank you for making dinner. Thank you for the inspiration that you gave me. Thank you for doing the project. My mum's been setting projects for the grandchildren and they've been getting involved, and just watching her, the enjoyment that she gets when the kids get involved in ideas that she's had and get something out of it. It's just beautiful to watch all of these different things happening. There's so many great things that entrepreneurs are doing at the moment, giving ideas away for free or very little charge. They're doing all sorts of things to help us move forward in these times. All we need to do is focus on those ideas rather than the media and the news that is hyper on everything else. Make sure we're focusing on what's going right in our lives and water the flowers rather than the weeds. Forgiveness. This, as I was saying before, can help to rewire our whole brain. As Mahatma Gandhi said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is an attribute of the strong. So don't think that you are being weak by forgiving somebody. You are actually doing yourself a favor. Unforgiveness, as I've heard, is like swallowing poison and expecting the other person to get the sickness or the death as a result of you swallowing the poison. Unforgiveness is poisoning ourselves. So forgiveness is being the opposite of that, is so powerful in rewiring from a hormonal level, what we are doing is letting go of stuff that we don't need anymore. And it empowers us from the inside out. It empowers our thinking. Another space that you can be productive and creative in finding things that you can actually forgive rather than hold on to. You can use this in a meditation, in a visualization, and in just 5 minutes a day. Even you can spend an hour meditating and visualizing if you have that time, and if you want to, that's wonderful. But even in just 5 minutes a day, you can make a massive difference in your day, in your life. It can release things that aren't working for you and bring in things that are going to work better for you. It's like defragging the computer. We're defragging our mind, letting things assimilate and work themselves out, letting things percolate and focusing on the good things. Meditation can amplify, visualization can amplify all the good things in our lives. What we're doing is focusing here our intention and our energy and our focus, our concentration. That's what meditation and visualizations and mindfulness can really do. In just a few minutes a day can really empower you to make that difference and see those results for yourselves. Why is this not working? There we go. Movement. Somebody last week came up with the idea of moving, physical activity, and being away from technology. Awesome. Get out into nature if you can, but if you're stuck in your own home, there are still things that we can do. Weightlifting with cans of fruit and vegetables or beans in the cupboard. Weightlifting with beautiful bubs. Doing things that will help your body to move, helps your brain cells to also move. If you're moving outside, you're also moving inside. That again is really empowering in changing how we think. As the Mayo Clinic found in their research, exercise in almost any form can be a stress reliever. But the most powerful thing in exercise, any sort of movement, is to do something you love. With a bub you love, with a dog you love. If you can with other people, that's beautiful. That brings in more connection. But if you can't, do something that you love on your own. That's still empowering. Physiology. Have you ever tried just simply smiling? Even when you don't feel good, the simple act of putting a smile on your face changes not only your face, but how you're thinking. So powerful. A simple smile on your face can make you feel better. Try being angry. Try being upset when you're smiling. It's really, really hard. And if a simple thing like that can make a difference to how we think, imagine how being crunched over at a computer rather than sitting up straight at a computer, at a desk, at a table and chair that is set up for you ergonomically. Imagine how much difference that's going to make. Even before COVID-19, if I had a phone call to make, 9 times out of 10, I would do that standing up. I would be walking, I would be stretching, I would be doing something that would put me upright. It changes how you come across. It increases your self-confidence. It increases how you sound on the telephone. If physiology can make that much impact, doing something simple like that, imagine what it can do while we're stuck at home, working from home. So think about your physiology when you are working, because that again taps into our perception of the world, where we're focusing on, that leads us into emotions that are so, so powerful. And that can change the whole way that you look in your life and how your world looks to you. Because as Earl Nightingale says, we become what we think about most of the time. And that's the strangest secret. So thank you for listening to Pyjama Chats this morning. And please join us now for a chat